Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Only one type of burger. For every pallet. Fries are extra. Large in size. We've got the shakes. Going over the brim.
Hey, this is Chris from JCW's. Put a positive, delicious spin on your day at any one of our 5 locations. In Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, or Harriman. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Our response on a back-to-back wasn't great. They had us spinning defensively. They had 21 offensive rebounds. They turned us over a lot early in the game. We were able to get out in transition, and it just put us behind. We got to bounce back and move on to the next one.
The Utah Jazz suffer a pair of losses over the weekend. They nearly won against Denver, but critically, they gave up a 15-3 run to close the game, and they lose 135-129. Then they get blown out by Phoenix. And PK, combined with the other results around the league, it looks like they are locked into the 5th worst record in the NBA. Mission accomplished in Denver. That got a little touchy there for a minute.
Well, yeah, but then he sat the guys in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So if you're sitting Filipowski and who else, Sensabaugh, so you don't win, I guess that's a positive in that they were in that game, and Denver's Jamal Murray needs to hit some big shots and smacking his chest. A bunch of guys.
I know, was that crazy?
So that's sort of good news.
Celebrating like they won a playoff game.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't matter to them, but the point for me is that maybe those guys that others have dismissed to a degree, maybe they can be players in this league. I'm talking about Flipper and Sensabaugh and Cody Williams. Cody went home to Phoenix and laid an egg, but other than that, maybe there's something there that they can round out a decent rotation on the cheap.
Jazz are back at it tonight. Donovan Mitchell, former Aggie Sam Merrill, and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Delta Center. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. Pre-game starts at 6 o'clock here on The Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
You buying the Celtics, PK? They got
I don't
50
have enough
wins
money, man.
for the 5th straight year. Jaylen Brown said he was giving a little bit of grief there to people who said this would be a gap year because of the Jason Tatum injury. Like their chances of coming out of the East?
Well, I guess if 50 wins is something to celebrate, then he should smack talk, but see what they do in the postseason. I like their chances probably as good as anybody's.
Yeah. It does look like a big old toss-up there in the East. We'll see who's healthy when we get to the playoffs. That's been a major problem for a lot of those teams. The Sixers got Tyrese Maxey back, and Embiid, Paul George, they were all playing. And Philly beat Charlotte 118-114. And Dallas picked up win number 24, so they moved 3 games beyond the Jazz. But the Jazz didn't get any help last night when the Kings got beat. So they're still sitting on 19 wins. It seems unlikely after they lost to the Nets that they'll get to 21 like the Jazz are. So that pretty much should settle that. Luka Doncic out, 16 technical fouls. So you got to be suspended for a game. He'll sit out the game tonight against the Wizards. They ought to be able to beat the Wizards without him. Good time to get that suspension. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
Just about 10 minutes ago, ESPN reporting that Northern Iowa's head coach, Ben Jacobson, is accepting a 5-year deal to coach at Utah State. The Aggies get another guy who doesn't on the surface seem to have any local ties, does he, PK?
Not that I'm aware of, but who knows? I had no idea. You weren't here. last week when we found out Joe Flacco's father went to BYU. So, who knows?
Who does know? He'd been at North Dakota and North Dakota State as an assistant before he moved to Northern Iowa. And he's been there as an assistant and a head coach, almost forever, it seems like.
Almost forever.
Forever. 25 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, he's 55 years old, so he's a little bit different than the other guys who were younger.
Yeah. Yep. The Final Four is set in dramatic fashion. UConn from 19 points down and a steal with 5 seconds to go, and a shot from the edge of the logo goes in with less than a second to go, and UConn with an epic rally into the Final Four, joining Michigan, who'd gotten there with a blowout. It's about as entertaining as it gets. Braylon Mullins letting one rip from the logo and winning the game.
Yeah. I mean, I've been there, man. I've let a few rip in my life.
Let it rip, PK. Let it rip. Not the same thing.
Oh.
You buy in Arizona, they're in the Final Four. That's been a major.
I don't have
for
enough
that
money
program.
to buy Arizona and the Celtics. I can only choose one or the other.
Choose them both. Come on.
Sure, why wouldn't you buy them? I mean, they've won easily most of the season. You don't buy them by now, you're never going to buy them.
BYU women's program will take on Kansas today. WBIT semifinals, 3 o'clock on ESPNU. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Philadelphia Eagles general manager Howie Roseman said he's responding to every inquiry about wide receiver A.J. Brown by saying A.J. Brown is a member of the Eagles, despite his mercurial attitude towards the team's offense. Careful not to make any promises. Why make promises in pro sports, PK? He is a member of the Eagles. That's not debatable. But, a day from now, a week from now, a month from now, who knows?
Well, I don't think it's a promise that he's an Eagle. It's just to increase his trade value.
Yeah. And they'll wait to he's got a clause in his contract coming up, and there's a date where it'll be easier on the cap to move him then. So it may just be buying time right now.
And that might open up some space for Cubby.
Yeah, you're right. You never know. Cleveland Browns recently altered some of the language in Myles Garrett's contract, but that was not a precursor to them trading the NFL's reigning Defensive Player of the Year. That's according to General Manager Andrew Berry. He got a 4-year extension last year. The change spreads a dead cap hit that he could incur over multiple years. So we'll see if they're just doing that to help themselves to the cap right now, or if they are actually going to move him down the line. John Lynch says concerns about the 49ers' practice fields and the training being adjacent to a power substation and rumors of heightened injury concerns were a big nothing burger. They hired an independent scientist to study the substation to see if there are any issues on the players on the practice field that's nearby. So that ought to clear that up for the conspiracy theorists.
It's a nothing burger, whatever that means.
The NFL is set to begin hiring and onboarding replacement officials in the coming weeks. A stalemate with the NFL's Referees Association continuing to wear on. Training of the replacements will begin May 1. Prepare yourself for a whole new set of refs and the controversy that inevitably come with it. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Opening series in the book, PK. Anybody you're surprised with right out of the gate?
No.
Anybody catch your attention?
How about you?
The NL West getting drilled. What happened? 3 teams got swept. That caught my attention. The Padres went 1-2, and they're the Dodgers, 3-0, already running away with everything.
Yeah, who cares if they did whatever they did? The Dodgers are going to win it anyway.
Yeah. The Yankees dominated the Giants, only gave up 1 run in 3 games. That caught my attention. That's I don't know if that's Yankee pitching or Giant bats or just a 3-game aberration, but getting outscored 13-1 in the season opening series, that was pretty rough for the Giants and pretty impressive for the Yankees. DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
Gary Woodland wins the Houston Open by 5 shots. First time he's won on tour since the US Open in 2019. It's been a wild journey, but He cruises to a 5-shot win in Houston.
Yeah, it was emotional for him, obviously. He's had some big-time setbacks that he's had to battle through. And to get that one, you could tell it really meant a lot.
Tony Finau finished tied for 39th, 6 under. His Masters chances fading here. Patrick Fishburne missed the cut. Might not have Tony at Augusta. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Unbelievable commitment from the boys. They were engaged, intense. Our gap was phenomenal. The D played a hell of a game, all of them. Our 6D played really, really solid. Like the way we play in our zone, and obviously that generated offense for us. Our forecheck was really good, especially early in the game. And our special team were elite as well. So it's a great night.
That is the head coach, Andre Tourney, Utah Mammoth, beating the Kings, dominating the Kings, winning 6-2. You never really know what you're going to get out of this team, PK, and they showed it once again. They've had games that were struggles, and then they have games where it looks so easy. And it looked easy as they thrashed the Kings.
Yeah, that was something I guess that they needed. But I don't know that their confidence is that fragile that they needed as opposed to a 3-2 win is what I'm saying. I mean, they need wins, obviously, but I'm not sure that means that they're more confident or they desperately needed that to increase their confidence. They need wins to, as Armstrong says, to see an X by their name in the standings, which means they've clinched a playoff spot. So I'm not so caught up in the fact that they rolled and 6 goals and beating the team by 4 obviously is a lot, as opposed to the win and moving forward towards the playoff. I just don't see their confidence being that fragile that, wow, now they're really going to take off.
Yeah, I wouldn't guarantee that with what we've seen up and down and all that. Who knows? I think to your point, it's about the win. That was a 4-point swing. The Kings are literally the 9th place team, the first team out of the playoffs, and they're now 6 points in front of them. And if they lost that game, they would have only been 2 points in front of them. So obviously it was a big win, but I would just go with what it did for giving them a little separation in the race as opposed to, who knows how they're going to play. They don't play again until Thursday, and who knows how they'll play when they come out for that game. But I gave them a little separation with the Kings, which now that we're getting down to, depending on the team, 8, 9, 10 games to go, 6 points feels like a lot. That feels significant right now. Yeah. Obviously, it's not clinched, but it's a big boost. They'll go to Seattle, play the Kraken Thursday night. That is their next game. And then right before the playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights, who are in the middle of a wild race in the Pacific Division, fired their head coach, Bruce Cassidy, out with 8 games left in their season. They hire longtime NHL head coach John Tortorella as his replacement, and we'll see if they get into the playoffs and how they're set up. The possibility that they could play Utah in the first round, although right now Anaheim has surged ahead in that division and is the likely first-round opponent, but still a little ways to go. 2.5 weeks left before we get to the playoffs. All right, that's what is trending. There are your headlines. What is trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small, and get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Steve Cleveland, former BYU basketball coach, joins us at 8 o'clock. Barry Trammell, sports columnist for the Tulsa World, at 9 o'clock. The question of the day is next. Stay with us.
This is JJ and Alex. I got these.
And the Mammoth obviously have a lot of work cut out for them still, because they are now at a point where, again, I hate looking at the percentages, JJ. Doesn't it make you nervous to go, yeah, right now they sit at 76.5% to be that wild card 1 team. There's so much hockey still left to be played.
Yeah, that percentage can drop quickly if you lose 4 straight again. Overall, you're looking at where this team is at. They're in that number 1 wild card spot. They control their own destiny. I would rather be in that number 1 wild card spot than in the number 3 central spot, because if you're the Wild, you're either playing the Avalanche or the Stars in the first round. That's brutal.
It is.
I would rather be the Mammoth. You're going to be playing a first-round playoff series against the Ducks, and then you get the winner of the Oilers and Knights in the next round. I'd rather do that than get the Stars or Avalanche in the second round. If they're in that number 1 wild card spot, with as good as that team is, there's a path for them to go on a long run in the playoffs, not just win a series.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 7 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ellie's Eden was created from the same belief that started as your standard. Families should have access to good food and healthy living. Named after the founder's granddaughter, Ellie's Eden reflects commitment to strong, healthy plant starts grown with care in Oregon. These are carefully selected varieties chosen for gardeners who value quality, vitality, and dependable growth. From trusted seeds to thriving plant starts, Ellie's Eden helps you plant with confidence and grow something meaningful. Explore Ellie's Eden at azuresstandard.com.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
You deserve to feel better today. At Harper Clinic, patients report sleeping deeper, thinking clearer, and feeling stronger. Because mental health care is more than emotions. It's about your whole body. Work to lower your blood pressure, even boost your immune system. Get help to manage stress, focus, and reconnect. If you're facing anxiety, depression, or just feeling stuck, call Harper Clinic, 801-306-2345, 801-306-2345 to start feeling better.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
All right, question of the morning. Hot takes or toast? The Big Ten gets two teams, Michigan and Illinois, into the Final Four. Are we clear that the Big Ten is now the best conference in football and basketball? BK, people just aren't buying that. We are not clear. Russell, yeah, sure, whatever. Ben, we are not clear. Ben's not buying it. Ryan, was there confusion? Okay, we found one Big Ten fan in the group right there. What it comes down to for most people is they're arguing the basketball, not the football. Al, most years the conversation is usually the Big Ten was a disappointment in basketball. And also we've got people pointing out they haven't won the title since Izzo and Michigan State in 2000. So need a little more out of them before saying they're dominant. Could just be a blip. Could be a one-off.
Okay, well, if you're admitting it's a one-off, then you're saying yes.
Two teams in the Final Four this year. Yes, I would say that. There are people now. The leagues are so big. There's 18 teams. Two teams can't drag a whole conference along. They're bigger than that. That's Mike's take. Two of the Final Four, you get to beat your chest. But are you dominating it? And maybe I'm just getting my perception colored, but the SEC beating on its chest in football, where year after year, you know, they had two of the Final Four. They had the champ. It's the SEC's world. We're all living in it. It'd take more than 1 year. This year, yes. And the other thing is, I think there tends to be more carryover in football because you don't lose everybody, whereas in basketball, because the top guys are eligible for the draft after 1 year instead of after 3, I mean, your odds of keeping an elite player are really small between the transfer portal, eligibility running out, and guys bolting for the draft after a year or two. It is really hard to stay dominant. I mean, last year, the SEC they had a great NCAA tournament last year. They were awesome.
But we're not talking about last
this
year.
They're invisible. I know, but it changes in a year.
Okay.
You had a good year,
then we'll
but
have
you
the
don't dominate
discussion
the
next
sport.
year, God willing. But we're having it right now. We're not having it last year. We're not having it next year.
They've had the best year, but they're not dominant. But this year, they're the best.
Well,
but I think they'd like to claim a level of dominance that I'm not going to concede.
Who said anything about dominant? It's the question. Find the word dominant in the question, and I'll give you $1,000. We said the best.
They are the best this year.
Well, that's the question.
They're not dominant. It doesn't say this year. It doesn't say this year. It says,
yes,
are we
it does.
clear the
They
Big
get
Ten
two teams in the final. In order to get two teams in the final, that is this year. I don't know how many teams are going to be in the final next year. So, it doesn't say it, but if you got a brain, you can figure it out. The teams are in the final this year. This is when you're talking present tense. Do you need to spell out this year and this year only? They got two teams in the Final Four this year, and they had two other teams. They had two other games in which Big Ten was playing Big Ten, so Big Ten had to lose.
They're going to knock themselves out. Gary says no SEC teams, and that is great. He doesn't care about the Big Ten. He just wants the SEC out. And they're out. Okay, so they're the best. There it is. Should we just sit here quietly now for a few minutes?
Well, you want to say that they're not?
They are this year.
Your Mark says that the Big Ten, Big 12 is the second best basketball league. No, it's not.
Who have you got as the second best basketball league?
That gets you the Big Ten. I mean, that's what he's making a point that we're the second best behind the NBA. So we're talking about the second best, and then you asked me who the second best is.
Got it. I thought you meant the second best in college.
That's not what your Mark says.
Marky Mark needs more out of his teams in the tournament to back that up.
Right. That's where who cares what you do in the regular season, because you have to have a first-place team in every conference. Whether you're good or not, it doesn't matter. But you have to have one because you're playing each other. So you're going to be judged by the NCAA tournament. You're not going to be judged on your non-conference. You're going to be judged on what you do in the tournament. Right? I mean, I don't see how other way. And the Big Ten, to me, they're the best. And
they get to beat their chests this year. There's no doubt about it.
And in football, they're the best. I don't see any other argument. So that's why I'm saying, aren't we clear? Yes. No one said they're going to dominate for the next decade. I have no clue.
Well, they'd like to think. They got a lot of money. Can they press that advantage and get on a big run in both these sports?
Yeah, I mean, what best teams don't have a lot of money? What great teams? Arizona spends $22.5 million on basketball. And you can look that up. I mean, that's just an enormous amount of money. I mean, why do you think players go there? They've been paying guys for years and years.
Years.
They go there because the 75-year-olds that sit in the first 20 rows are great fans and all that stuff. I mean,
yeah, the desert landscapes, the saguaro cactus, the 75-year-olds in the first row. Yeah.
I mean,
and the cash.
Yeah, that's where they put
good.
their emphasis, and it's smart for them to put their emphasis there because they can make something out of it. I mean, they've never really played for anything that matters in football. Softball, they've been very good, and baseball, they've been good at times for sure. Yeah, no doubt about that. But basketball, they had a few blips here and there, but other than that, they've been really good for a long time. And you'd have to say that the money that they're putting in, they're getting back, and it's working for them. I mean, I would think that who knows? But I would think that they'd be the favorite. I haven't seen any odds, and I don't understand basketball odds anyway. But, I mean, they've sure looked good. They've looked good basically since November. If I'm just going to go strictly on resume, they look the best.
Arizona the best, and then Michigan, and that's the semifinal Saturday.
Yeah. And there's some thought, should they reseed it? Sure, but it's not like you can reseed based on seeds. You're just going to have to reseed based on Ken Palm or something.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to do, and why buy yourself grief, more grief? You take grief on the way you set things up usually. Although basketball, the committee doesn't seem to get as near as much grief as football. For one, it doesn't matter as much. Football is the driving force overwhelmingly. And then when you're letting in so many teams, we're going to quibble between a 1 and a 2 seed or a 3 and a 4 seed or whatever. That seems a little pointless. So they seed the way they seed, and this year it looks like the two best teams on paper, anyway, for what that matters, are going to face each other in the semis. But that doesn't mean that whoever wins can't have a great game against whoever wins between Arizona and Michigan on Monday, a week from tonight. And I mean, it could be a last-second game and as thrilling as can be too, just like the Duke UConn game was. So I don't really have a qualm about that. I can't say, oh man, that stinks. They should have reseeded. I'm not so concerned about that. If they do it, it's not like that one year several years ago, the Suns and the Spurs went 7, and then I think they played the Spurs won in that controversial thing where a couple of Suns guys, including Stoudemire, was suspended. And then they played the Nets and beat them 4-0. I mean, that was a big come down. I mean, who knows? I mean, we're talking about Arizona, but at the same time, wow, Michigan, that was a tidal wave that was unstoppable yesterday. I mean, I felt bad for Tennessee. I wouldn't think there's that big of a difference between those two teams, but yet when they played on that day, March 29, in the middle of the afternoon, our time, man, it really was. I mean, Michigan I don't know that I've ever seen a team look as dominant in a regional final. If I have, I certainly can't remember. I mean, that was a blowout of epic proportion. Hard for me to imagine that they'll have 2 more games like that. If they do, then wow, they may go down as one of the greatest teams ever.
33-point blowouts in regional finals don't happen every day, but that is pretty much how they've treated people. I mean, it's been all double digits, and only one team stayed within 20 in these 4 tournament games. I mean, they've just been annihilating people. 21-point win, 23-point win, 13 over Alabama, and then the Tennessee blowout.
Yeah, they took it to another level, though. I mean, that was everything was going their way. I mean, they just couldn't be stopped. It's like some baseball team getting 15 hits in a row or something outrageous, or soccer team scoring 2 goals.
Ooh. Well, that's a game. I mean, they could reseed because they seed them even on the one line. It's, you know who the first, second, third, and fourth 1 seeds are. So they could reseed them if they want, but you're right. It is a headache. It's not what they've traditionally done. They're going to get a massive game out of it, so what the heck?
I don't see any point in it. And then the ratings Monday will take care of themselves because it's literally the final. So maybe they get and they I guess they did that. TV did that by putting the Arizona Michigan game second. So they didn't necessarily, obviously they didn't reseed, but they placed it where they thought they can get a bigger bang. I assume that's why they're doing it.
Yeah. They usually put the more attractive game as the second one, figuring later at night more people are free to watch it, and it usually pays off.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with UConn, Illinois, but Arizona, Michigan, those are 2 teams that, like you said, people have been talking about both these teams since November. So here it is.
And I want to see
1 seed versus 1 seed, 2 heavyweights.
Well, I want to see Michigan win. So on Monday in Annapolis, I can see Whittingham there in a Michigan polo.
Will he be there Saturday?
Probably. I don't know what they have spring football-wise.
Yeah.
I don't know what their schedule is. I know I can tell you through conversation that they're in the middle of it right now. I know that, but I don't know what if they have practice on Saturday because you're limited to 15 spread over 4 or 5 weeks. So they may have Saturday off, and maybe he can get there. Everything in that part of the country seems about 4 hours away. So wouldn't be that hard. And there'll be some booster that would fly him over, and the president or whoever, I assume the president would already be there on the Saturday. So maybe he'll be there on Saturday. I mean, we see that all the time. We see the head coaches of other sports. We see that in Omaha in baseball. Yeah. If a big name school is there, you'll see whomever it might be.
Yep. Sarkisian was at the Texas games when they were making their run. They were putting him on TV all the time.
Yeah, right. So I want to see him in some Michigan gear.
This is a tough time of year. You're right, though, for football coaches to break away. But Michigan and Texas play in a women's regional final tonight. Maybe Sark and Kyle can both go to that. All these Michigan's in the hockey playoffs, and Michigan's doing everything. I've seen Michigan people tweeting about it nonstop. They're winning all over the place.
Well, yeah, the women are going to be UC Los Angeles and UConn. Let's get on with it. It's been that way for weeks and months.
Just waiting for that game. Everyone else have your tournament, but in the end,
I mean they are by far, unless they're matched up in the semifinal. I don't know what the bracket is, but I mean they've been the two dominant teams, and that's not going to stop. That will not stop this year. And I think the women's basketball committee and whoever is involved in it and all that stuff would want to see that, because that has a chance to draw some eyeballs, and they've got some really good players, including the Neepkins gal who played 3 years at Utah.
Yeah.
And then transferred out last year down to Westwood. So that would be kind of funny to see Kyle in a Michigan golf shirt, acting like he's just this diehard Michigan fan. If he had little kids, they would face paint Michigan. I guess maybe it has to be his grandkids.
Yeah, get the grandkids there. Let's go. Get the face paint.
Meet me in Indy.
All right, kids, let's go.
Yeah. Well, he has grandkids living in Ann Arbor because his one son, I think, has 2 or 3 kids. So they'll be there to see that. We'll see that when the season starts, although it won't be as pronounced when you got 100,000 people in the big house. I mean, at game day, like their game day is as good as any game days that I've been around, and I've been to a lot of them throughout the country. With that many people, it's just massive. It's basically obviously double the size, and Utah has a very good game day too. Their atmosphere and all that stuff is awesome, and it's come a long way, and they're big time. But now you're going big time. So that's my reason for rooting for Michigan. No other reason other than that. Whatever, but I want to see.
You want to see Kyle there high-fiving his grandkids.
Yeah,
with everybody in maize and blue.
Yeah, and maybe who knows? Maybe Jay Hill, Jason Beck. I mean, they're certain making enough money they could charter.
Yeah.
Now, Freddie will be there. That little thing. They mic up and put, social media. They do this, and so I've been watching that for Michigan. I feel like I've been watching a ton of stuff, and they put their press conferences. Everybody does it, but I don't care about Northwestern or what have you. And I go and listen to the Michigan stuff. And they had Freddie the other day trying to hit the goalpost during practice with his arm. And he knew he could do it. And I don't know how many tries it took, but he got it. So he hit the bottom bar, the crossbar, in practice.
He used to be in charge of doing that stuff at the U. That's how they ended up trying to throw a ball out of the stadium. That was his idea. So he's always into that kind of stuff. Anything to make these the drudgery of these never-ending practices a little more fun, because the games are so far away.
Yeah.
So what is Yormark going to do to get the Big 12 back on top? What can be done? What must be done?
Well, I think I have a little saving grace if Arizona wins.
Yep.
So that will take care of it to a large extent.
He can get up and say that.
Yeah, I never really believed that they were the clear-cut second-best basketball conference in the world. I thought it was a nice line that he keeps continuing to spin, and he's paid to promote it. He's basically, in a public sense, not when he's doing his work, but when he speaks, as all commissioners are, they're basically nothing more than public relations people. Particularly for him, since the Big 12 doesn't right now have the prestige as the other two. And you can argue maybe not the ACC. To me, that's sort of a dead heat, but I mean, you can argue it if you wanted to. So he has to continually sell his conference, what they're trying to do. You know, he's got to grab attention on that. So I appreciate his line when he said it. I know he said it at the press conference before the title game in the Big 12 at the Cowboy Stadium the morning of between BYU and Texas Tech. He said that multiple times, and then he's since said that, and that's good. I mean, he's paid to sell it. He's paid to do other stuff, but when he makes his public appearances before the media, that it basically is PR stuff.
Yep. But I just don't see how you can spin, because the thing about the Big Ten this year is they got 6 of the 16 in the Sweet 16, and the Big 12 had 3, and now they've got 2 of the Final 4, and the Big 12 has 1. So if Arizona can win it all, that'll give them something to talk about. Yeah. But there's definitely work to be done. How do you get the other schools to pay $15 or $20 million? Because you're going to have to get in that neighborhood. We've already heard Kentucky's in that neighborhood, and it didn't pay off. So that's clearly a neighborhood that multiple teams are if they're not in it already, they're going to be in it quickly. So if you can't get to that neighborhood and stay in that neighborhood, how are you going to compete at the top? We heard Houston, Kelvin Sampson was talking about they just don't have that kind of money. He says the teams have better players. They keep recruiting. We stop recruiting because we run out of money. I mean, he was really just put it all on the table there. He didn't dance around it much at all.
I don't know if there's anything you can do. I don't know that it rests with your mark. That
find your
is
billionaire
charged.
investor at each school.
Well, a willing one.
Yeah.
And just because you have a ton of money, who's to say that you're really that interested in sports? Like Ira Fulton is a big Latter-day Saint guy down in the Valley of the Sun, and he has donated millions, but how much of a sports fan do they want to do that? See, the School of Engineering on the campus, literally on the campus, not someplace else, for ASU, that's the name of the engineering school.
It might be the same thing in Provo as well.
So he's doing that. That organization, that family, that company is donating a lot of money, but you can argue very strongly for far more important things. Right? And I'm a sports fan. We're sports fans. I don't have any problem saying that. So you've got to get somebody they've got to get their jollies by having their team, their college team, their youngsters between 18 and 22 or 3, whatever. They've got to get their jollies by having that team win. You know, and getting that publicity, that Cody Campbell for president as I drove into the parking lot at AT&T Stadium. That's the first thing I saw. I take a left to get off the main street, and then you went in the parking lot. I went right, and then when I took a left to go to my parking spot, so I'm now fully immersed on the grounds of the Cowboy Stadium, and literally the first thing I see is a truck facing the stadium, and in the back window, covered from both ways, with and horizontally and vertically, Cody Campbell for president. Yeah.
Well, if you get money and your front seven's that good, why not? Right? Seems like a leap. The front seven's really good to Cody.
Yeah, and that's not to say Cody Campbell's not financing academic colleges within the university. You know, he very well could, but you still have to get somebody who gets their jollies by having the team win. And that, how many people are there of them I mean, Riley Jensen was in for us last week, and grateful for him coming in. And, you know, he was talking about he knows somebody who works at BYU that they have 4 billionaires within 5 miles of the campus, and they want to see these teams win. And maybe you can argue for BYU, it's a higher calling if you want to go down that road. You can argue whether it's true, but I think it is that they believe that, okay, if I give money to the basketball team or the football team, that's furthering the cause of the Latter-day Saint religion. I really think you can argue that, even though in basketball there was 2 guys, Latter-day Saints, who played, and then they both had injuries, one early, one later, and then they had 0. But in a roundabout way, those guys, the Robert Wrights and DeBonsas, they're furthering the cause of the LDS Church. I don't believe that's their intention, but we still think of that way. So maybe for BYU, they can get that money more regularly. I don't want to say easily, but consistently might be the better word, because if they may feel, in a sense, I am donating to my religion, whereas at the University of Arizona, obviously you're not going to have that. It's just you're donating so Arizona basketball can win, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly heard that over and over the years we've been doing the show from multiple administrators at BYU.
Yeah.
That what happens with the athletic department does over time in specific ways, and they'll point out specific examples. They'll say this has an impact on the church, on religion.
Right.
And I know not everybody embraces that, but it's clear multiple people in leadership do, and they've got specific stories that they'll share and back it up. So,
well, yeah, I mean, you look at the number of
motivates-
guys who've converted by playing football. I mean, we couldn't name them all. Andy Reid at the top of the list.
Yeah. And so at the same time, it is also about sports because people want to be in the locker room after the game, and they want to be seen on social media being in the locker room after the game. You get to do something most people don't get to do. So you got to find out what gets somebody's attention and why they want to do it, and then go down that path, whatever it is.
Right.
And if you don't have one of those people back in your teams, you're going to be in trouble pretty quickly. Your best player.
Well, if your definition of trouble is having a nice team and go out in the first or second round,
losing
I guess.
games, right? Yeah. As guys who went to Big West and Big Sky schools, yeah. Well, we don't have people with that kind of money, and our guys, if they do anything, they're going to transfer.
Yeah, and I'm personally fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't get my jollies out of an 18-year-old winning a football game or a basketball game. A lot of people do, and that's fine too. I'm grateful that there are those people because that helps me stay employed. It's not my thing, but if it's other people's things, so be it. I don't have a problem with it.
Victory in Flagstaff just doesn't move the needle for you that much.
Actually, for me, victory in Flagstaff was far more fun than victory in Tempe.
Because you knew the guys.
Yeah.
There was an actual connection.
Yeah. I mean, they lived down the hall. It wasn't so massive.
Yeah. You didn't have an athletic dorm, and people still went to classes.
Yeah.
Everything went online. So,
yeah. It was like it was a bigger high school in a sense.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Steve Cleveland talking NCAA tournament at the top of the hour. Barry Trammell talking about the Thunder being upset with the Jazz. That's coming up at 9 o'clock. Stay with us.
Just a bunch of guys sitting around and talking sports. This is Scotty G and Friends.
Athletic Director of Utah State University, Cameron Walker. Not only are you looking to hire a new head coach, but you also become the de facto recruiter to keep your own student athletes in place. How do you manage that as an athletic director?
Obviously, my job here is to keep as many as I can and have the best team. But if it's best for someone to go, then they should go. But I ask them, hang tight. Don't do anything in the next 48 hours. Don't decide to stay or go. Collect your thoughts. Let us get a hire in and then make your decision. You'll have time. It'll be okay. But then when that time comes, make the best decision for you and your family. I think that's important. I think as much as I'd love to say, hey, you player X, stay because that's best for me. If that's not best for them, I'm being selfish, and that's not what Utah State's about.
Catch Scotty G and Friends weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ellie's Eden was created from the same belief that started as your standard. Families should have access to good food and healthy living. Named after the founder's granddaughter, Ellie's Eden reflects commitment to strong, healthy plant starts grown with care in Oregon. These are carefully selected varieties chosen for gardeners who value quality, vitality, and dependable growth. From trusted seeds to thriving plant starts, Ellie's Eden helps you plant with confidence and grow something meaningful. Explore Ellie's Eden at azuresstandard.com.
Hey, I'm Josh Spiegel, host of the podcast Lunatic in the Newsroom. If you enjoy journalism that drifts into mild panic, wild overthinking, and a guaranteed nervous breakdown, Lunatic in the Newsroom is for you. It's news like you've never heard before. The only newsroom with a panic button. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and gasp in horror as the show spirals completely out of control. It's not just news, it's emotionally unstable. Lunatic in the Newsroom. Listen today.
You live with intention, what you allow into your body and what you don't. Like you, Azure was well built on a higher standard. Truthful, transparent labels, every ingredient listed. No proprietary blends. Organic isn't our finish line. We go further with rigorous third-party testing beyond industry standards to verify purity and potency. Living deliberately means choosing products that align with your values. Azure Well, wellness without compromise. Visit azurelivingwell.com. These products have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You deserve to feel better today. At Harper Clinic, patients report sleeping deeper, thinking clearer, and feeling stronger because mental health care is more than emotions. It's about your whole body. Work to lower your blood pressure, even boost your immune system. Get help to manage stress, focus, and reconnect. If you're facing anxiety, depression, or just feeling stuck, call Harper Clinic, 801-306-2345, 801-306-2345 to start feeling better.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Don't miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. This week, you can win tickets to see Weezer with the Shins and Silver Sun pickups at the Maverick Center on September 15th. Presale begins Thursday, April 2nd with the code WEMAV26 at livenation.com. That's WEMAV 26 at livenation.com. Or listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. All right, PK, for people who missed it, the news is about 1 hour old now. All the people who cover college basketball tweeted out this morning, Utah State has their man, Ben Jacobson, coming in from Northern Iowa, where he is the head coach and has been since the 2006-2007 season. He has had a long run there. He's had 4 NCAA tournament teams. Made it to, or 5 NCAA tournament teams, rather, my bad, and made it to a Sweet 16 once upon a time. So an accomplished guy, not necessarily the young guy on the way up, but a guy who's got a track record. He was there as an assistant coach before he was the head coach, so he'd kind of been a lifer there at Northern Iowa, but it turns out he's not a lifer. He's headed to Logan.
You know, we thought Whittingham was a lifer, so, I mean, nothing can surprise you when it comes to that stuff. I think that, maybe on appearance sake, who knows what's going to happen, but maybe they got somebody who might stay there if he has a little success and is not because of the age, not that he's that old at 55, he could still coach, easily another decade, if not longer, that he might not be so inclined to take off. And so maybe they could have some continuity there because it's been amazing what they've been able to do with the lack of continuity in the coaching staff. And I think that the current state of college basketball has led to that because guys can transfer and become immediately available eligibility-wise. And you look at Sprinkle was the guy who did it probably the best in terms of bringing guys with him that could be immediately eligible, right? I mean, he had 2 guys, a power guy and a point guard that came with him that were big-time players, and so they took advantage. So you can see how it can be done, but it's still hard to do that. You got to have the guys who are willing to go and be good enough once they get there, just rather than just simply be willing to go. And it worked out, and it's worked out for 3 guys basically since Smith took off. Now maybe here at 55, he may be inclined to stay. I have no idea. It may blow up. Maybe he has 2 great seasons and he's gone, or 1 year. Sprinkle, I think, was only there 1, so you never really know.
Yep.
But it seems it's a little bit of a different model, and it's certainly someone who is accomplished. You can't argue that. The success is there.
There's tons of it. I mean, there's you look at his record year to year. He's had a couple of lulls and been able to dig out of it. He's adjusted to this new era. They've gotten better 4 years in a row. One of the lulls, they had a 14-18 season in the Missouri Valley Conference in 23, but they came back with 19 wins, 20 wins, and this year 23 wins, and they went to the NCAA tournament. So he's adapted to the new world order. I mean, you could look at everything else he's done, but the world was so different. I mean, he's had 30-win seasons and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, and I would think that his success is not built on largely money.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they were outspending the league, but I don't know anything about that. But Northern Iowa, the assumption is, you're right, not built on money. Not that I'm following the Missouri Valley Conference, but
well, the lower you go, the logic reason is that the less money you have. Now it's relative, you're right, because if he's competing against everybody who has less money, then what difference does that make? But nevertheless, it hasn't been a simply, well, we got a lot of money, so we'll win. He's had to have the ability to develop talent and identify, like the Utes did in football for so many years, identify and develop, and go from there. And I really think that, to me, that's the mark of a coach, is what you do in your league, because things are more balanced in the league, right? Mm-hmm. And so not one team has a significant advantage or disadvantage. So nothing is really even, but you're in that group, and if you're having success in that group, that means you're pretty good to me. So the qualifications clearly are there. That's zero problem from my perspective. I like the fact that maybe he's a little older. Maybe that went into it, and he would be more inclined to stay. That'd be great if he stayed there for 10 years.
You can definitely look at the age and make that assumption if you want, but I think the stronger thing that if he got questioned on it, he would point to is that, well, he stayed at Northern Iowa for 20 years as a head coach, and he was there for 5 years as an assistant before that. So there are people who move around a lot, and that's not his resume.
Right, but I don't think you're going to go from Northern Iowa to the Big Ten, where I think you can go from the new Pac-12 to the Big Ten or the Big 12.
If he comes in and has a crazy year or two, who knows what program has an opening in a year or two and throws who knows what kind of money and resources at him.
This very well could be a stepping stone if he has major success in 2 and 3 years, because of the fact that it's at a higher level, and especially if he squeezes out a Sweet 16.
It sounds weird to say this because the Aggies are going on their 6th coach in a decade, but man, maybe Aggie fans should think, hey, if the big dogs come calling, there's only one reason, and that means the Aggies have been crushing it again. So if there's another tourney win out there or a Sweet 16 or whatever, well, you and I have been big on continuity. We've seen continuity pay off over time, but man, the Aggies have been able to handle all kinds of change. And maybe in this era, that's just the way it's going to be anyway. So if you're rebuilding teams every year, maybe the lack of continuity with the coach doesn't matter quite as much, because every coach is putting together a team every year. We can run that past Steve Cleveland. He's going to join us next. Stay with us.
Ellie's Eden was created from the same belief that started as your standard. Families should have access to good food and healthy living. Named after the founder's granddaughter, Ellie's Eden reflects commitment to strong, healthy plant starts grown with care in Oregon. These are carefully selected varieties chosen for gardeners who value quality, vitality, and dependable growth. From trusted seeds to thriving plant starts, Ellie's Eden helps you plant with confidence and grow something meaningful. Explore Ellie's Eden at azuresstandard.com.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.